5 years of marriage, and I endured so much trying to have a baby, but he couldn't wait. When I suggested divorce, he didn't hesitate for a second. But a month after the divorce, I stared at the glaring 2 lines on the pregnancy test, and fell silent. I cried, he went crazy. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. When entered the house, he carried a mix of unfamiliar perfume and alcohol. He casually slung his suit jacket over his arm, his loosened tie, and shirt collar unbuttoned. I instinctively reached out to take it, intending to hang it up for him, but my fingertips unexpectedly brushed against something hard in his inner pocket. It wasn't his cigarette case, nor his business card holder, but a 5-star hotel room key card and a crumpled photo. In the photo, Marcus had a smile on his face, with a young, beautiful girl snuggling beside him. The girl was on her tiptoes, affectionately kissing his cheek. Behind them, the cityscape lights glittered brilliantly. The timestamp showed last night. Last night, I was alone at the hospital, having just experienced the failure of my 10th IVF transfer. In the cold observation room, I sent him many messages, but he didn't reply to a single one. Only in the early hours of the morning did he float back 2 words, meeting. So, this was the meeting he was attending. My stomach churned, and nausea washed over me. I gently placed the room key card and photo on the entryway table. Marcus changed his shoes, immediately spotted the items on the table, and his movements instantly froze. He looked up at me, a flicker of panic in his eyes, but it was quickly masked by impatience. "Did you touch my things?" I watched him silently, not saying a word. The air seemed to solidify. He walked over, picked up the photo, glanced at it, and then casually tossed it into the nearby trash can. It was just an office party, had a bit too much to drink. He deliberately eyed my gaze, his tone so casual, as if making small talk. "Colleagues?" I finally spoke, my voice hoarse. "Colleagues who need to be this intimate? Colleagues who need to go to a hotel room? Grace!" He suddenly raised his voice. "Can you stop being so paranoid? Just focus on having a baby." It was always like this. Every time I tried to communicate with him, it always circled back to the topic of children. As if for the past 5 years, we had no other topic besides IVF. As if all our conflicts stemmed from my inability to conceive. A dull ache pulsed in my abdomen, a lingering after-effect from the recently finished IVF cycle. The countless needle marks, the scars left by laparoscopy, and the swelling and mood swings from the hormone medication side effects, all seemed to mock my foolishness and persistence at that moment. "Marcus," I looked at him, utterly exhausted. "Last night, I was at the hospital." His eyes flickered, but he said nothing. "The doctor told me, this time it failed again." I clearly saw the last shred of his feigned patience vanish from his eyes. "Oh, I see." He turned and walked towards the living room, his back resolute. "You should get some rest." "I'm tired." This weekend was our 5th wedding anniversary. I still remembered 5 years ago, in this small house, we had no grand wedding, just each other. He held my hand, his eyes shining like stars. "Grace, we'll have a home someday, with 2 adorable children. I'll make you the happiest woman in the world." The sincerity of those vows then, made the current silence all the more ironic. At the dinner table, I prepared a feast of his favorite dishes. He came back late, carrying a heavy weariness and that persistent, unfamiliar perfume scent. He paused, seeing the spread of dishes on the table. "What's this?" My heart sank. "Nothing," I forced a smile. "Just threw something together, go ahead and eat." He didn't ask again, sitting down to eat in silence. During the meal, his phone rang. He said at it, and his expression instantly softened. He got up and went to the balcony to answer. His voice kept very low, but I still vaguely heard a few words. "Sweetheart, don't fuss, I'll be with you tomorrow." The next day, he indeed said he had to work overtime. I didn't say anything, but before he left, I noticed a faint red mark on his neck, near his shirt collar, like a scratch from a fingernail. In the afternoon, I went to the hospital alone for a follow-up checkup. The doctor looked at my report, appearing to hesitate. "Ms. Yu, your physical condition isn't very good. Honestly, it's really not advisable to continue. The risk of ovarian hyperstimulation is very high, and your uterine lining environment is very poor." I listened calmly. "I understand, thank you, doctor." Stepping out of the hospital, the sunlight was blinding. I walked aimlessly down the street, watching the hurried passers-by, and suddenly felt incredibly lonely. My phone rang. It was Tom, Marcus's assistant. "Madam, Mr. Vance asked me to inform you that he has an important business engagement tonight and won't be returning home." "Okay." After hanging up, I saw Marcus accompanying a girl, choosing a necklace in the mall display window across the street. She smiled charmingly, holding Marcus's arm in an intimate pose. Marcus looked down at her, his gaze filled with a tenderness I had never seen before. It turned out his tenderness hadn't vanished, it was simply given to someone else. I stood rooted to the spot, watching them browse, try on, and finally pay and leave, completely oblivious to anyone else. From start to finish, Marcus didn't spare me a glance. He didn't come back that night. The food on the table had long since gone cold. I sat in the darkness, not turning on the light. At 3 a.m., the lock clicked softly. His footsteps entering were a little unsteady. Seeing me on the sofa, he seemed startled. "Why aren't you in bed yet?" "Waiting for you," I said. He walked over, intending to hug me, but I dodged him. The strange, sickly sweet perfume scent on him, mixed with alcohol, made me physically nauseous. "Been drinking?" "Yeah, business engagement," he mumbled, reaching to turn on the light. "Don't," I stopped him. "Let's talk." "Talk about what?" He stood still in the darkness, his voice wary. "Divorce." My voice was soft, yet it was like a pebble dropped into stagnant water, eliciting a strong reaction from him. In the darkness, he spun around abruptly, his tone laced with incredulous anger. "Grace, say that again." I said, "We're getting a divorce," I repeated, my voice calm. 5 years of emotional drain had smoothed away all my intense emotions. The air around us seemed to solidify. After a moment, he let out a sneer, full of heavy sarcasm. "Divorce? Just because of a photo? One business engagement? Grace, can you stop being so paranoid? Just focus on having a baby." So, in his eyes, all my pain and struggles were just immaturity, just the actions of a resentful woman. "It's not because of a photo, nor one business engagement," I said, looking at his blurred silhouette in the darkness. "It's because of 5 years, Marcus. 5 years of every argument, every disappointment, every night you didn't come home, every time I lay on the operating table and you weren't there. It's because I don't want this life anymore." He seemed enraged by my calm. "Do you think divorce is a game? Have you thought this through?" His voice rose, carrying a threatening undertone. "Without me, where would you go? And the reason I found someone else was just to have a child. Don't forget the situation your family is in right now." "That's right, my family went bankrupt. My father was seriously ill, my younger brother had just started college, and all the burdens of the family fell on me. That was also one of the reasons why, for 5 years, despite all the grievances I suffered, I clung desperately to this marriage. I needed his financial support, and the convenience that came with the status of being Mrs. Vance. But now, I wanted to let go of even this last shred of reliance. "I've thought it through," I said. "As per the prenuptial agreement, I don't want any property. Let's process the divorce as soon as possible." He probably hadn't expected me to be so resolute, leaving him momentarily speechless. In the darkness, I heard his heavy breathing. After a long while, he coldly tossed out one word: "Crazy." Then he turned and went into the guest room, slamming the door shut with a bang. That night, we were separated in 2 rooms, as if an unbridgeable chasm lay between us. The next morning, he didn't come out for breakfast. I quietly packed my belongings. In a corner of a drawer, I found a small, somewhat faded plush rabbit. It was something Marcus had won for me with great effort at a shooting game stall in the amusement park, when we first started dating. In the sunlight, his smile was dazzling. "When we have a baby someday, we'll buy them lots and lots of toys like this, until the house is overflowing." I clutched the rabbit, my fingertips cold. It turned out that promises were the things least able to withstand the test of time. I put the rabbit back in the drawer and closed it. I went to the hospital for my final checkup and collected all my medical records. The doctor looked at me and sighed. "Are you really giving up? Not going to try again?" "No," I shook my head. "Thank you for your care all these years." Leaving the hospital, I sent Marcus a text message, asking him to meet me at City Hall. He replied quickly, "No time." A few minutes later, another message came, Friday afternoon. Brief, indifferent, as if handling official business. On evening, I received a call from my best friend, Sarah, her voice anxious. "Grace, quick, check her social media post. See what that mistress posted." My heart sank. I opened WhatsApp. Sure enough, the girl named Mary had posted a photo. The background was the revolving restaurant by the river, with a delicate tiramisu on the table, next to a bouquet of vibrant red roses. The caption read, "Thank you, Mr. Vance, for the belated anniversary dinner. I loved it." That restaurant was where Marcus and I had our first date. That was the first dessert he had personally made for me, back then. Even though it didn't taste great, I treasured it. Now, he had taken another woman to our once exclusive spot and ordered the dessert that held special meaning for us. It turned out he hadn't forgotten the anniversary, he was just celebrating it with someone else. I turned off my phone, and my vision blurred. Friday afternoon, outside City Hall. I arrived early. Marcus arrived right on time. He was dressed in a well-tailored suit, his hair meticulously combed, his expression detached, as if he were just there to sign a regular contract. We had almost no interaction throughout the process. Filling out forms, taking photos, fingerprinting. The clerk asked routinely, "Are you both certain this divorce is voluntary?" "Yes," I replied quickly. Marcus glanced at me, his eyes complex, but he also said, "Yes." The moment I received the divorce decree, I felt neither the anticipated relief nor excessive sadness. It was like a long, arduous journey that had finally reached its end. Stepping out of City Hall, the sun was shining brightly. Marcus spoke first. "I'll have my driver take you back." "No, thank you," I refused. "I'll take a cab myself." He frowned, seeming displeased, but didn't insist further. His phone rang. He answered it, and his voice instantly softened. "Hey, Mary, just finished up." "Okay, I'll come pick you up right away. What do you want to eat?" He continued talking on the phone as he walked towards his car, not even glancing back at me. 5 years of marriage, just like that, came to an end. Hasty and humiliating. I moved back into the small, older apartment I used to rent. The apartment wasn't big, but once cleaned up, it felt cozy. I found an office job. The pay wasn't high, but it was enough to cover my father's medical expenses and daily living costs. Life felt like it had hit a reset button. Though difficult, every step I took felt steady. But my body, after 5 years of IVF, was already overwhelmed. After stopping the hormone medication, various side effects began to appear. Insomnia, hair loss, periodic abdominal pain. The worst instance was a sudden acute abdominal pain in the middle of the night, leaving my pajamas soaked in cold sweat. I struggled to reach my phone to call for an ambulance, but I didn't even have the strength to get out of bed. As my consciousness blurred, I thought of Marcus. I remembered every discomfort after injections, every weakness after egg retrieval. Although he was impatient, at least he used to be there. Now, I was all alone. In the darkness, despair engulfed me like a tide. I don't know how long passed, but the intense pain gradually eased, and I lay sprawled on the bed, like a beached fish. At dawn, I went to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor said it was a delayed reaction from ovarian syndrome, and I needed to rest and recover properly. I went home with a pile of medicine, looked at my pale, haggard reflection in the mirror, and felt as if I were in another lifetime. A month after the divorce, I unexpectedly found that my period was late. At first, I didn't pay attention, thinking it was just hormonal imbalance due to the stress of the divorce and moving. But as the symptoms of nausea and drowsiness became increasingly obvious, an absurd thought uncontrollably popped into my head. With trembling hands, I went to the pharmacy and bought a pregnancy test. Back home, I closed the bathroom door. The few minutes I waited for the result felt like an eternity. When I saw the 2 clear lines appear on the pregnancy test, I was completely stunned. I couldn't believe it, so I opened another one, but the result was the same. A strong wave of dizziness washed over me, and I had to lean on the sink to steady myself. 5 years, dozens of attempts, and after I had given up all hope, even ended my marriage, a baby actually came? The next day, I went to the hospital. I made an appointment with my previous attending physician. As the ultrasound transducer moved across my abdomen and 2 tiny gestational sacs appeared on the screen, the doctor's eyes widened in surprise too. "Twins?" She double-checked several times before looking up at me, her voice complex. "Ms. Yu, congratulations. This was your last successful transfer. Sometimes in medicine, there are cases of delayed implantation, though the probability is very small. It truly happened. Both gestational sacs are developing well." I looked at the 2 blurry little dots on the screen, listening to their faint yet strong heartbeats, and tears unexpectedly streamed down my face. It was joy, grievance, bitterness, all the suppressed emotions of the past 5 years finding an outlet at this moment. I covered my mouth, sobbing uncontrollably. The doctor handed me a tissue and gently comforted me. "Grace, this is good news, don't cry. You've suffered so much, and you finally waited for this." Yes, I finally waited for it. But I had lost the person I once most wanted to share this joy with. Holding the ultrasound report, I walked out of the hospital, my emotions incredibly complex. Marcus had a right to know about the babies. But what then, after telling him? Should I ask him to remarry me for the sake of the children? Or watch him enjoy his new relationship while occasionally playing the role of a father? I couldn't imagine such a scenario. I stood on the bustling street, feeling utterly lost for the first time. The sun filtered through the leaves, yet I felt a chill run through me. My phone rang. It was an unknown number. I hesitated for a moment, then answered. Hello, is this Grace? A young, sweet voice came from the other end of the line. It was Mary. Can I help you? My voice was cold. Nothing major, she chuckled, her tone boastful. Just wanted to let you know that Marcus and I are getting engaged next month. Since you two had a past, I thought I'd inform you. I was shocked. We had only been divorced for a month. At that moment, a sharp pain shot through my lower abdomen. I said, congratulations. She seemed pleased with my reaction. Oh, and by the way, the house in the south he previously gave you has been transferred to my name. After all, we're getting married, and we need a marital home, don't you agree? That was the marital home Marcus's parents gave us when we got married. The place that held 5 years of our memories was now his and another woman's home. That's your business. You don't need to specifically tell me. I tried to keep my voice calm. I just feel that some things, what's owed should be returned. Mary's voice held a hint of triumph. Didn't you always want a child? It's a shame you tried for so long and didn't succeed. Marcus and I plan to have babies after we get married. The doctor said I'm very healthy and can conceive easily. I clutched my phone, my knuckles turning white. Ms. Guan, if you're just calling to brag, then I'm afraid I have to hang up. With that, I hung up the phone and leaned against the wall, breathing heavily. I suddenly remembered 5 years ago, after my first IVF failure, hiding under the covers and secretly crying. Marcus held me, clumsily comforting me, saying it was okay, we were still young, there would be plenty of opportunities. Even if we don't have children, I'll always love you. I remembered in the 3rd year, after several failures, I was physically and mentally exhausted and wanted to give up. Marcus held my hand, his eyes red, and said, just one more try, please? I want a daughter as lovely as you. At that time, his gaze was so sincere, so full of longing. The man who once said he would always love me, the man who once yearned for children so desperately, was now going to marry and have children with another woman. And I, after he left, became pregnant with the child he once desired most. And twins, no less. Fate's joke was a cruel one. I decided not to tell Marcus about the children. I didn't want to use the children to bind an already ended relationship. Nor did I want my children to be born into a family that was united in name only, or even filled with resentment. I began to carefully nurture my pregnancy, quit the job that barely paid the bills, and used my remaining savings to rent a slightly better one-bedroom apartment. Every day, I cooked for myself, paid attention to nutrition, and went for prenatal checkups on time. The early pregnancy symptoms were severe. I threw up constantly, whatever I ate came right back up. At my worst, I even considered giving up. But every time I went to the hospital, heard those 2 strong, powerful heartbeats, and saw them growing day by day on the ultrasound report, all the hardship and grievances seemed to become insignificant. One day, while I was grocery shopping, I unexpectedly ran into someone. Marcus's mother, my former mother-in-law, Eleanor. She was wearing an elegant velvet dress, her hair meticulously styled, carrying a delicate shopping basket, still looking like the elegant lady I remembered. Only, her eyes seemed to carry a bit more fatigue and weariness. We both froze. She was the first to react, putting on a slightly stiff smile. Grace? Is that you? What a coincidence. Auntie, I greeted politely. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. She looked at me, then at the shopping bag in my hand, which contained prenatal formula and some fruits and vegetables. Her eyes flickered. How have you been recently? Are you feeling all right? Her tone was hesitant, with a hint of concern that was hard to miss. I'm doing well, thank you for asking, Auntie. I tried to sound as natural as possible. That's good, she nodded, seeming to want to say something, but hesitated again. After a moment of silence, see, she suddenly asked, Grace, are you still living alone? I paused, not understanding why she asked, but answered truthfully, yes, I am. She sighed, looking at me, and felt for her. Grace, there are some things Auntie isn't sure she should say. I had a faint bad feeling. Auntie, please speak. She hesitated, then lowered her voice. Marcus hasn't been doing well lately. Really? Maybe he's just busy with work. It's not about work, she shook her head. Ever since your divorce, he's been shutting himself in the house, drinking all day, and not going to the office. His father and I are very worried about him. I remained silent. Because we were already divorced. Auntie, you should talk to Mary about these things. She's Marcus's current wife, I said, my voice distant. She gave a bitter laugh. She's only focused on preparing for the upcoming wedding. How could she possibly care for Marcus? Besides, there are some things I can't even tell her. Auntie, what exactly do you want to say? I asked directly. She bit her lip, as if making up her mind. Grace, tell Auntie the truth. Was your divorce from Marcus really because your feelings broke down? I hadn't expected her to ask so directly, leaving me speechless for a moment. Was I supposed to tell her it was because her son cheated, because he was having an affair with another woman during our marriage, and even brought his mistress to what used to be our marital home? I couldn't bring myself to do it. After all, she had always been good to me, treating me like her own daughter. I didn't want to embarrass her. Auntie, let's just let the past be the past. I was the one who initiated the divorce. I felt we weren't a good match, I said vaguely. She stared at me intently, her gaze sharp, as if trying to see through my pretense. Grace, don't hide it from me. Auntie can tell you still can't let Marcus go. And still has feelings for you. I couldn't help but laugh. Auntie, you're really overthinking this. If he still had feelings for me, he wouldn't be getting engaged to someone else so quickly, and he certainly wouldn't. I immediately stopped myself, not wanting to expose Marcus's infidelity in front of her. But she seemed to understand something and pressed. Wouldn't what? Wouldn't be with Mary? I avoided her gaze and didn't answer. She sighed, her voice tinged with a plea. Grace, I know, this boy has many flaws, and sometimes he's a real jerk. But he's not bad at heart, he's just too confused sometimes, too easily led astray. Auntie, what you're saying is pointless, I interrupted her. We're already divorced. Marcus and I, we can't go back. No, Grace, it's not what you think, she said urgently. I'm his mother, I see clearly. Marcus is just putting on a show with Mary to make you jealous. Make me jealous? I could barely believe my ears. They're almost engaged, and you're saying it's to make me jealous? It's true, Grace, Auntie isn't lying to you. She grabbed my arm, her voice earnest. Marcus only has you in his heart, he never liked Mary. He's only with Mary to make you jealous, to make you regret the divorce. I was stunned, my mind a jumble. To make me jealous? Marcus and Mary publicly flaunting their affection, even getting engaged, just to make me jealous? Why would he do that? He just can't let you go, silly child, she said anxiously. He thought you'd regret the divorce and beg him to get back together. He just wanted to use this method to make you give in, to make you come back to him voluntarily. This was truly absurd and ridiculous. His intimacy with Mary was clearly not fake. He just couldn't believe I dared to get a divorce. He wanted to prove he still held influence over me. Auntie, please stop, I shook my head, trying to pull my hand free from hers. But she held on tighter. Grace, listen to Auntie. Marcus has been holed up in his room for days, not eating or drinking, just muttering your name. He even dug out your old photos and kept looking at them over and over again. I scoffed, he just doesn't want to accept reality, he can't believe I don't want him anymore. I know you've suffered a lot, she looked at me, and felt for her. Marcus was a jerk, he wronged you. But, nobody's perfect. Give him another chance, and give yourself another chance, okay? There's still affection between you two, and so many years of shared history. You can't just give up so easily. Thank you for your kind offer, I said firmly. I'm better off without Marcus. The light in her eyes dimmed. Grace, are you really so heartless? It's not heartless, it's clear-headedness, I said, looking at her seriously. Auntie, better a clean break. Divorce is better for both of us. She was silent for a long time, eventually sighing and releasing my hand. Grace, can you tell Auntie, are you pregnant? Is it Marcus's? She pointed to the prenatal formula I bought. Auntie, this is my child. From the day we divorced, they had nothing to do with Marcus. She showed a shocked expression. This is the child you two hoped for 5 years. Grace, do you really plan on being a single mother? Auntie, I'll say it again, I'm divorced. This child has nothing to do with Marcus, or even the Vance family. Ignoring his anxious tone, I quickly walked away. After walking a good distance, I felt a tightening in my lower abdomen and had to stop to rest. I took out my phone and, as if possessed, opened Marcus's social media post. His social media post was set to be visible for 3 days. The latest post, from 3 days ago, was just a pure black image with the caption, "Regret it?" 2 words, no punctuation. I stared at the image, finding it only amusing. That night, I had a dream. In the dream, Marcus and I were still together, living happily in that small house. Every day after work, he would bring me a bouquet of fresh flowers. On weekends, he would take me for walks in the park, and at night, he would hold me while we watched movies. I was pregnant, and he took meticulous care of me, afraid I'd get even a bump or a bruise. He accompanied me to prenatal checkups, told me stories for the baby, and prepared all sorts of things for the children. The children were born, a pair of twin boys. The daughter looked like him, and the son like me. He held his 2 children, grinning from ear to ear. Our family of 4 lived happily together. Waking from the dream, I opened my eyes to the dark room, and raised a hand to wipe away my tears. The next day, I received an unexpected phone call. It was Marcus. "Grace, let's meet." His voice was a little hoarse, carrying a hint of weariness. "Whatever it is, you can say it over the phone," I asked coldly. "There are some things I want to explain to you in person." He paused, then added, "about and me." He was indeed going to explain his relationship with Mary. "There's no need, Marcus. You and I have no connection anymore," I said calmly. "Who you're with is your business. I don't want to know." "No, you need to know." His voice suddenly became urgent. "Grace, things between Mary and me aren't what you think." "Then what is it?" I retorted, my voice tinged with sarcasm. "Aren't you truly in love, soulmates, about to enter the sacred halls of marriage?" He fell silent. I thought he wouldn't answer and was about to hang up when he suddenly spoke. "Grace, my engagement to Mary was just to make you regret it." I remained silent. "I said my engagement to Mary was just to make you jealous, to make you regret the divorce, to make you come back to me willingly," he repeated, his voice laced with a plea. "I know, what I did was childish, ridiculous, but I truly don't know what to do anymore. Grace, I've thought a lot these past few months. I remembered so many of our happy days. I can't live without you." "Marcus, we're long over." My voice was choked. He said urgently, "I'm sorry, Grace, I'm so sorry. I truly know I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have hurt you. I shouldn't have made you sad. Grace, come back. The children can't be without a father." Sure enough, Eleanor had told him about my pregnancy. I scoffed. "Marcus, don't you think it's too late to say all this now? I know I'm a jerk, a fool, a hopeless idiot. I was so stupid I didn't even notice you were pregnant." He pleaded tearfully, "Grace, if only you can forgive me, I'll do anything." "Marcus, are you begging me because you still love me, or because you want to be a father? Are those mutually exclusive?" "Of course I still love you, and I also want my children to have a father from an early age." His voice held a hint of impatience. "Grace, I had someone find a doctor. You're pregnant with twin boys. My sons can't be without a father. After this, us 3 men will protect you together, and you'll be the happiest woman in the world." "The happiest woman in the world?" I repeated his words, my heart filled with bitterness. "Marcus, you truly sicken me." "Grace, what is that supposed to mean?" His voice trembled slightly. "It means I was truly blind to marry you." With that, I hung up the phone. Days passed, my belly grew larger, and my body became increasingly heavy. But I still insisted on taking care of myself, attending prenatal checkups on time, walking every day, and trying to keep my spirits up. One day, as I was tidying up at home, I suddenly heard urgent knocking. I opened the door and saw Marcus standing there, looking haggard, with stubble on his face, and bloodshot eyes. He looked as if he had aged 10 years, completely devoid of his former vibrant appearance. "Can I come in?" His voice was hoarse, tinged with a plea. I hadn't expected him to find me here. I was about to close the door, but he squeezed his way in. He entered the room, looked around, his eyes complex. "Living here alone?" he asked. "Yes," I replied indifferently. "Your belly is so big." He slowly walked over, extending a hand, wanting to touch my belly. I backed away, shielding my belly with my hands. "Are they okay?" His voice trembled. I finally nodded. Tears instantly welled up in his eyes. "Grace, I know I was wrong. That day you asked if I was doing this because I loved you or for the children. I thought about it for a long time. I truly love you," he choked out. "Mary and I have cut off all contact. Grace, please come home." "This is my home," I said. "And the children are mine too. I'll raise them myself. You have nothing to do with them." "No, they do. Of course they do," he said excitedly. "They're my children. I have a responsibility, an obligation. All you've brought us is pain and hurt." I cut him off. "Please leave my home." He fell silent, his expression becoming one of pain and struggle. "We can remarry. I can give our 2 children the best of everything." "Grace, I'm sick, very sick." If we remarry, my property, my houses, will all be yours later. If you're sick, please see a doctor. I don't need your help, nor your charity. It's not charity, it's love, he said urgently. Grace, I love you, I've always loved you. I don't want to lose you, and I don't want to lose my children. Give me one more chance, let me be a good husband, a good father, okay? I looked at him, my gaze calm and firm. Marcus, how many more times do I have to say it? We're over. I don't need your love anymore, I said. I just want to live peacefully now. I can do very well on my own. With that, I turned and walked into the room, closing the door. I shut Marcus out of my life, forever. The day before my due date, I was at home packing my hospital bag, preparing to go to the hospital. My phone rang abruptly, the screen displaying a name I thought had long been relegated to a forgotten corner of my contacts, Eleanor. I stared at the name, my brow furrowing instinctively, but finally I swiped to answer. Hello, I said, my voice devoid of warmth. Stifled sobs came through the receiver, followed by Eleanor's voice, familiar, yet strangely alien, now sharp with panic. Grace, it's me. Marcus, he has liver cancer. Her words came out in broken, pleading gasps. He's dying. He wants to see you one last time. Grace, please, I'm begging you, just pity me, a mother, and go see him, okay? Just one glance. Eleanor, I'm due any day now. It's not a good time, I replied, my voice completely unmoved. No, Grace, he truly regrets it. Eleanor, I cut her off, my voice chilling slightly. Marcus and I are no longer connected. Silence fell on the other end, broken only by stifled sobs. Grace, I know we wronged you in the past, that Marcus was a jerk. Eleanor's voice returned, thick with emotion. But he's really dying now. For the sake of your time together, please come see him. My abdomen tightened, and I felt a faint pang of pity. After a long moment, I simply replied, sorry. No sooner had I hung up than the doorbell began ringing incessantly. I opened the door to find Mary standing outside. Her face was haggard, her eyes dark-rimmed, but her gaze was filled with venom. Grace! Are you doing this on purpose? She shrieked, charging forward the moment she spoke. Marcus doesn't want me anymore. We were about to get married. You bitch, you got yourself pregnant and now you won't let go of him. I frowned, instinctively protecting my belly as I took a step back. Mary, Marcus, and I have been over for a long time. Whether he gets married, or to whom, has nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with you? Mary scoffed as if I'd told the funniest joke, closing in on me. If it weren't for you, why would he suddenly change his mind? He still has feelings for you. Are you happy now? You bitch, if you can't have him, you won't let anyone else either. She was agitated, speaking without thinking. I just felt it was absurd and exhausting. Whoever he has feelings for is his business. Mary, you're overstepping your bounds. I tried to close the door, not wanting to deal with her anymore. But violent. Ly pushed against the door, her bloodshot eyes fixed on my swollen abdomen. Are these wretched children in your belly just another way you're trying to tie him down? Calm down, I said, anger flaring within me, also somewhat afraid she'd lose control and hurt me. Just as I was distracted, a flash of madness crossed Mary's eyes, and she violently shoved my shoulder. The immense force made me lose my balance, and my heavy body fell backward, tumbling down the stairs. Excruciating pain instantly swept through my entire body. Intense contractions made my vision blur. Ah! I screamed, curling up on the cold floor of the stairwell. My water broke, warm fluid soaking my clothes. Mary stood at the top of the stairs, watching me struggle in agony, then burst into maniacal laughter. Ha ha ha! Karma! This is your karma! You and your wretched children, you all deserve to die. Waves of searing pain washed over me, and the babies' heads pushed uncontrollably downwards. I was giving birth. Here, in this filthy, cold stairwell, with no doctor, no help, only the curses of that madwoman above me. I clenched my teeth, sweat mixing with tears blurring my vision. After what felt like an eternity, accompanied by heart-wrenching pain, the first baby was born, its cries faint. Immediately after, the second baby also emerged. 2 tiny infants lay beside me, like fragile kittens. I used every last ounce of my strength, wanting to pick them up. Mary's laughter abruptly ceased. She walked down step by step, her eyes dark and menacing, staring at the 2 newborns. Grace, you've finally met your match. She bent down, seeming to reach out. Don't you dare touch them. I shielded the children with my body. Just then, my phone rang. Mary saw Marcus's name displayed on the screen, and with a mad laugh, she put it on speaker. Marcus, your wonderful ex-wife really did give birth to twin boys. Ha 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 ha. But from the other end of the phone, Eleanor's heartbroken sobs echoed, "Marcus is gone, Gr. Ace." The madness and venom on Mary's face instantly froze. The hand holding the phone dropped, and the phone clattered to the ground, its screen shattering. "Marcus, dead," she murmured to herself, her eyes unfocused. Mary suddenly looked up, first at me, then at the two newborns. But in the end, she did nothing, only stumbled back a few steps, her eyes blank as she scanned her surroundings, finally settling on the window in the stairwell. Suddenly, she let out a desolate laugh, a sound more chilling than a cry. "Marcus, if you're dead, what's the point of me living?" With a hollow laugh, she walked step by step towards the window, and without hesitation, climbed out. A muffled thud echoed, and the stairwell returned to a deathly silence, leaving only my faint breaths and the soft cries of my two children. I lay on the cold ground, gazing at the dreary sky outside the window, listening to my children's cries. My body was utterly exhausted, yet my mind was exceptionally clear. Marcus was dead, and so was Mary. This long-running farce that had entangled me for so long finally ended in such a brutal way. But my children and I had survived. That was enough. The sun would rise as usual. Tomorrow would be a brand new day. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.